Good evening. It's 4 p.m. here at Bangalore. Welcome all for this talk and Q&A session on Azim Premji University's MPG program. That's Master of Arts in Public Policy and Governance. Not just the program, I think we'll discuss the need for public policy professionals in the country. How do we make the parliament, the bureaucracy, the courts, and other public institutions work towards a just, equitable, humane, and sustainable society? My name is Rajgopal. We have Professor Sudhir, Krishnaswamy, and Narayana also here with me to talk about this in detail. We will also answer your questions as well. Both of them are from the School of Policy and Governance here at Azim Premji University. The school anchors both the Public Policy and Governance program and as well as the one-year LLM in Law and Development. Both of them also write extensively. When time permits, please do catch their articles in mainstream media or otherwise. Sudhir or Narayana, could I just request you to give a brief introduction about the MPG program? Apart from the themes of education and development, we also have public policy and governance as part of a postgraduate program. People who have joined, we are ready to take your questions. People who are new to this format, you would see a window called Say Something. So thank you, Sheetal, for typing something over there. So if you're ready with your questions, do type in that window that says Say Something, and we will take it as it comes and answer all your questions. If you are experiencing any technical difficulties, please do type them in the box. We will try to see how we will resolve. Over to you.
Thanks, Rajgopal. So let me begin with a brief account of how we initiated these programs and our motivations to start a public policy and governance program. So we started thinking about such a program almost 4 years ago, when at Azim Premji University we had already begun with our flagship education program and followed it up with Masters in Development. Even as we started the Masters in Development, we were clear that what was crucial in this, to make a useful intervention in a university setting, we couldn't confine ourselves to single disciplines or single issue areas. And solving public problems needed rigorous academic and analytical training before young graduates could go out and enter these fields. So we plan to get into the field of public policy and governance in a few ways.
Right.
We said we would not style it as an MBA program because previous public policy programs around the country had been housed in MBA schools, in business schools, and they had both benefited and had problems because of that. We also knew that we were not going to pursue a public policy or governance as a technocratic field. So we wanted to use the degree to have a more broad-based introduction to a range of public policy problems. And we did not want to focus only on public policy, which has become over the years excessively economics-focused discipline. So we wanted to change the structure of how public policy may be taught, integrate it with a governance degree, and then offer this combined master's degree, which is the program that we're discussing this afternoon.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thanks. I think I've also learned something new the way you explained it. So I can see many of them joining. Hello, Subhash, Nandini, Varda, Rajat. I'll take all your questions one by one. So I think that straight away I'll take Rajat's question. Like to understand how the field engagements are in the course. Rajat, is that right? You want to know the field visits during the course in the MPG program?
Yeah. So this is an applied area where you need to understand and prepare yourself for specific kind of jobs when you graduate. So we in the first semester prepare you for some kind of industry experience. So between the first semester and the second semester, it is not the idea of sending you directly to experience the field or the industry. So we will train you for that, and between the second and third semester, you will take up a specific project in a chosen firm or industry or an organization, where you will be working on a project which is useful for them. It's not just that you are going to be part of that, working for them in some way as a student, but part of their professional team working towards a particular project or a solution. Now, so with this, between the third and fourth semester, you will be taking up something independently. In the second semester, between the second and third semester, it is very guided, where we will have an arrangement with the firm concerned, the organization concerned. You will go there and work for a project which we decide beforehand. But between the third and fourth semester, so you will have the freedom to choose the kind of field or the organization or the company that you would like to work for. So therefore, the field engagement comes in 3 spells: between the first semester and second semester and third semester, and between the third semester and the fourth semester. First we prepare you, second we will send you to an organization or a firm that we decide for you, and then we'll give you the choice to go and experience for yourself. So this is how we have arranged it. So the idea here is that when you graduate, you should be ready to take up a job in the field of public policy and governance.
Fantastic, thank you. I was so to summarize, they have field engagement in every end of every semester. Between first and second, second and third and fourth.
That's right.
So the first 2 are mostly guided, and the final one they have something
they
freedom to choose. What is interesting.
Yeah.
So
can I just add?
Yeah, sure.
So some of our students have no field experience whatsoever. They come to us straight after a graduate program. For them, with no work experience, this is their first step into the world of work. There's another set of students who have considerable work experience, but they now want to move into fields that they haven't entered in the past. So what we have found and this is our very first cohort that will graduate this year, we have found that the field experience is crucial to both give them a sense of the work that this area of public policy and governance demands, but also for them to understand what it takes to apply this range of disciplines in a concrete field situation. So it's huge pedagogical motivation, because that's the kind of learning that they need, and so that's the point of the field experience.
Fantastic, thank you. I think Rajat, probably we answered a question, but if you think there is a follow-up question, you can. Shankar, thanks for joining. I can see many questions coming in. We will take one at a time, but we'll definitely answer all your questions, right? Subhash, I'm just trying to interpret your question. I'm not, unfortunately, my Hindi isn't that great, but I think you're asking, is it research based? I think we were discussing before when I was trying to understand how much of the methods, the research methods element in the program. Not trying to compare with any other, I don't know which place you're talking about here, but I think this question is how much of research is involved in the curriculum.
Do you want to start?
Yeah, so it's an academic program, and we have research methods course, and we'll take you through this course over 3 semesters. It's a rigorous course which will train you in quantitative skills and qualitative methods of doing research, etc., etc. But the idea of research is twofold here. One is it's an academic program, it's a master's program, therefore you have to have some idea of research-based learning. And now this research is to build your analytical skills. Right? You are graduating with a postgraduate degree, and therefore when you go out to the field of employment, or when you start working, then your analytical ability should be sharper than the general public, right? So how do you get this kind of understanding or ability? And that is by engaging with research. So that is one idea of research which is common to all postgraduate students. Now, in this program, what we do, we make it more rigorous to prepare you specifically for the field of public policy and governance, where when you or if you want to take up roles as policy analysts or program evaluators, etc., to demand a very sophisticated understanding of quantitative skills. And for that, we have rather customized our research methods program or courses, 3 courses that you would have to do as part of this program would prepare you for those kind of roles.
Yeah. Can I supplement in
sure.
a small way? A single discipline master's degree might expect you to do a dissertation or some long piece of research writing. We must be clear that the public policy and governance program is not that kind of a program.
I think you're answering Ashkar's question.
Yeah.
Is it economics? Ashkar, we are answering your question. Is it economics related PG program?
That's right. So we're not training you in a single discipline, and we don't expect that you will write a long dissertation, say 20 or 30,000 words, in a single discipline. So how is research organized? Research is organized around the individual course, where you're writing term papers, you're writing small research memos, and so on. Okay. But the focus is on problem solving. The focus is on trying to get into a field context, try to evaluate a policy or a program, or try to write a memo, or a policy analysis memo on a proposed policy change or an existing policy. So it's a different kind of research. It's no less rigorous. My colleague Narayan has already said that our quantitative research training is significant and comparable to some of the best master's degrees in the country. Having said that, the focus is not on you writing long dissertations. It's more focused on you having the problem-solving skills that Narayana just spoke about, which is what public policy in the field of governance is like.
Fantastic. That probably answers why you have 3 method courses in it, first, second, and third semester. And they also get exposed to some tools like to play with data.
Yes.
Yeah. So R
is it?
R and Stata platforms
that
train
we
us.
So I was talking to somebody who's a data analyst, and I said that
we are preparing them.
That we're preparing them for the. They were quite surprised. They thought that's used only for the corporate world.
No, I think that these are skills that can be used in a range of vocations and occupations, and so that training is invaluable.
Absolutely.
No, I think we need to answer that question on economics. Economics comes in 2 ways again. So economics is one of the foundational courses because you need to know a bit of economics, not a bit of economics. You need to know economics somewhat soundly in order to understand public policy. So therefore we have a paper, we have a course right in the first semester on economics. And then you will, in the second and third semester, you will move on to some more sophisticated level of economics in the form of policy evaluation, program evaluation, etc. And we'll also introduce you to econometrics tools to some extent. So one is foundational, another is to build your quantitative ability through economic tools. So economics comes in at 2 levels. So, but is it primarily an economics-focused public policy program? No. So, economics will come along with other subjects. Economics will have its place in the program, but then it's a program grounded in social sciences in general. So, we'll introduce you to the idea of politics, anthropology, sociology, philosophy. Along with that, economics will also come.
Thank you. Ibrahim, happy to be here. Good to have you, Ibrahim. I take Hari Krishna's question. I'm going in the order and this is getting asked. In case I miss any of the questions here, please do ask again, but I'm going in the order. Does the student get a chance to work with policy makers? That is like practical learning.
Okay, now who makes the policy here? So if you are thinking of politicians and bureaucrats, well, you will get a a chance to work with them, but not as policy makers, but to lend them support in different ways. Maybe you have an expertise in some area, and the government seeks that kind of an expertise from you in order to come out with a policy. So you will be playing a consultancy role there. Or in case you are working for an advocacy organization, then you will be rather putting pressure on the government to take up solution A instead of solution B. Are you the policy maker there? Well, you are contributing to policy making in different ways. So you may be contributing to policy making as a consultant, as a policy advocacy person, or in playing many other supporting roles. So policy making is not something which only the bureaucrats and politicians are involved. A whole range of people are involved, a whole range of professionals are involved. In a way, we are preparing those kind of professionals through this course.
So can I also add that our students are already working with both members of parliament, members of state legislative assemblies, various think tanks, as well as government and quasi-governmental institutions in the policy making arena.
Okay.
So our students are already interning and working there, I suspect that many of them, when they graduate, will join these avenues. But to just emphasize what Narayana just said, policy making is not contained just within the state. So we are training students to not just work for the state, but work with various organizations that work with the state.
Fantastic. Hari Krishna, if that answers your question. The same question that Navneet is also asking, what is the job nature that we get once we do this kind of a program? What's in store for them? Any connectivity between international relations and public policy in government sector? I think I don't know whether it's referring to foreign policy, maybe not.
Would you like us to respond to that?
Yeah, please.
So we don't have in the existing program, in the core courses, any specific emphasis on foreign policy and international relations. We have not yet offered electives in that field. We may do so in the years to come. So to answer your question, Navneet, we don't have a direct connection between foreign policy and public policy at the moment. The kinds of jobs that you could do could be a wide range. We don't train you specifically as such to work in the state. In any case, the entry into the state is through various other exams and programs, and so that's another track. But we train our students for a range of opportunities in the public sector through quasi-governmental institutions and think tanks of various sort, as well as with the private sector, both consultancy, evaluation organizations, some social entrepreneurship firms, and so on and so forth, as well as in the civil society sector, with a range of field-based civil society organizations, as well as think tanks and other policy advocacy organizations. So it's the widest range of programs, of job opportunities and tracks that we train our students for.
Thank you. I'll take the next question. Prakash, I don't know when you joined, when Professor Sudhir started how he explained the objectives and the rationale of the program. He did explain how this is different from any. Maybe Sudhir, if you could just rephrase and repeat how it's different from.
So the one of the distinct choices we made was not to focus on public policy exclusively.
Oh, okay.
If you turn to the history of these disciplines, from early studies of the field of government, it was called, or the field of politics and government, and I'm talking about the 1800s and before. And then there's a subfield called public policy, which gets carved out of the field of public administration, and then at a later point it becomes a hyper-specialized field, which is very economics focused. And then at a later stage we get a field of governance, an academic field of governance. This is the kind of track that you could look on the historical development of these disciplines in Europe or North America. We don't follow the same track. So we were quite clear that we chose to offer an integrated master's in public policy and governance. So to answer one of your questions, so I think you asked us quite directly, Bangalore Law University's MPP is a public policy program. We invite you to study both public policy and governance. The second important distinction is that we focus on a range of disciplines that we think you need to have a foundation in before you can do public policy and governance. What we have in mind here are economics, we spoke about that a little earlier, economics, politics, philosophy and ethics. We think that all of us who are trained in this field of public policy and governance must have the ability to think normatively about the kinds of decisions we're making. Law as well, and anthropology and sociology, understanding of government on the ground, because it's not enough to just build some abstract systems that we think we understand in political science or in economics and not have a more tactile understanding of what happens on the ground. So this is the range of disciplines that we bring to the public policy and governance program, and I think this is quite unique. Look around programs in India or outside, and you'd be pressed to find such a range of disciplines being brought into a single program. The other point, and I'll close here, that I would say we distinguish ourselves with other programs around the country, including the Law University program, is that we focus quite intensely on your methods and skills abilities. Not only do we focus on skills of working on the ground, but also skills of analytical reasoning and statistical ability. This is crucial in the field, and as many of you no doubt know, that Indian public policy is going in this direction, and we hope to be a big part of that move.
Fantastic. Thank you, Sudhir. I think Prakash, that answers. I think it's the follow-up. It looks like a follow-up question which Shankar is asking. It's coming in that way. Let me rephrase that in a different way. Shankar, keep me right if that's not what you meant. In today's India or today's world, how important is this program? I mean, what we're preparing them for towards social change. I think the question is insight on the essentials of public policy and governance, looking at today's economic, social, and political reality of the country. And then there's a follow-up question. How is public policy and governance program different from the development program?
Do you want to start?
No,
So,
development.
Okay, so let me start, and then I suppose Narayana can jump in. Just broadly, there are two moves. Maybe there are three moves that I'll point to as to why public policy and governance programs are particularly relevant in India today. The first is that at least since 2002, 2003, the government in India has become far more open about consulting a wide range of actors while it makes policy. So the openness of government has meant that citizens can participate in public policy design in a way that was not possible, and it looks like this possibility will only increase. The second thing is that civil society organizations interested in systemic change have realized that going beyond small field-based change models, they need to also develop broader policy formulations that can result in enduring change. Now, this has also contributed to an increased emphasis, civil society emphasis, on public policy and governance approaches to resolving crucial problems. And thirdly, the corporations, which were previously only interested in minding their business, so to speak, are now increasingly interested both in the social sector, but also in reshaping government policy. So the convergence of these trends make public policy and governance a very exciting field today in India. And I guess that is, it mirrors our motivation in part. We think that public policy and governance as a field is promising in that it can offer better solutions than what we have achieved in the last 60 years. Now, is it different from the development program? The development program takes a slightly broader look at the problems of development. So if at this point in time you're thinking that what you need is a more sound grounding in core disciplines of politics, sociology. Many of us teach in the development program. Both Narayana and me teach in that program, so we're passionate about that program. It's a much wider program.
Right.
And so if you feel that you're at a stage in your life where you need a wider, broader understanding of the of this country and its multiple crises of development, then it's the development program that you should be looking at, because that program explores these questions in greater detail. The public policy and governance programs tend to focus a lot more on the how part of how do you make change happen. The development program focuses considerably on the what part of the question. What is the problem, and how do you understand it? So that's the way I'd make the difference. I hope that's useful.
Yeah. So let me put it slightly differently while agreeing with Sudhir. So the focus of inquiry in MA development is the idea of development, how to achieve development, and what are the different ways of achieving that, whatever that means. Now, in public policy and governance, irrespective of what is that idea of development, what we are going to focus is how the state goes about doing that. So here the focus is on the state and the institutions of public institutions. When public institutions or the state takes up this problem and sets a goal and takes a series of steps to achieve those goals, then it is not same as any other institution working towards that goal. So there are issues to be understood. There is politics out there, institutions of state which need to be understood in order to understand what the state does. So it is a far more complicated terrain to understand how the state goes about solving public problems. Now the area of inquiry in policy and public policy is this: how does the state and its institutions go about solving public problems? It is a science by itself. So in terms of the outcomes, in terms of what does it mean to you for a graduate, public policy program would prepare you for the kind of jobs that are available to those who do masters in public in development plus something. So in addition to those jobs, you will be prepared for some kind of more specialized kind of jobs. So that ability we build through courses like policy analysis, program evaluation, and a sound grounding in quantitative methods.
Thank you. Shankar, hope that answers your question. We are finished almost 30 minutes, in case you didn't realize. We have 30 more minutes to go. Rajat, thank you for clarifying. Hi Siddhant. I'll take Mayuk Bakchi's question next. What are the higher education opportunities after this program?
Okay, so it depends upon what kind of higher education you have in mind. So if you want to continue in the line of public policy, of course this is a Masters in Public Policy course, and if you want to enroll for a PhD in public policy, you can do it wherever you want to on the basis of this degree. Now, if your higher education plans are in some other subject areas, then I think you should be doing your MA in that subject area. If you want to do your higher education in political science or political theory, maybe you have to do a proper political science MA rather than a public policy MA. Yeah. So higher education, of course, you do, but then here this opens up you the possibility of doing your higher education in the area of public policy and related subjects.
Thanks.
So we have current graduates, at least 3 of them in the present cohort, who are thinking of applying for further degrees, PhDs and MPhils. I just want to add a small addition to what Narayana just said. I don't think that a public policy and governance program bars you from other MPhil programs. I think there's a considerable degree. I mean, our degrees are fully recognized, and you can even pursue other MPhil type programs around the country besides PhD programs that you might be interested in.
Thanks. I'll take Naina's question. I think we should have seen it much ahead.
Yeah.
She's asking whether
where's the application side?
Public policy and governance.
So shall I'll just respond to it this way. One of the things we're trying not to do, Naina, is to be too technocratic. We do not pass off the field of public policy or governance as some sort of hyper-specialized field that somehow gives, these all of us or graduates of the field some special knowledge that we can solve all problems in a magical way. So we don't want to get into that. So if you mean the application side, if you mean that somehow all the solutions come from this side of the between the two degrees, that's not quite how it is. We want to build a robust understanding of the problems of development. The public policy and governance programs take a narrow slice of that development problem, which is, if you have an idea about what you want to do, how do you do it?
Right.
What are the kinds of institutions and institutional design elements that you would focus on to get it done? And if you went out and you did something through the state or through other entities, how would you evaluate this? What would you come to success? What kinds of empirical evidence would you, and what kinds of methods would you adopt to say that this is a successful effort? So, is that the application side of a development program? I think I wouldn't put it quite like that, but if this is if what I've suggested to you explains it, I hope that's it's a better way of putting the relationship between the two programs.
It is an interesting question actually. So instead of saying application side of MA development program, of course MA development program is also applied application.
Yeah,
but I would say that this is the applied side of politics. In politics, you study, how political power is acquired, so what kind of mobilization happens around that, the theories, etc., etc. But ultimately, what you are going to do with that power, that authority? So you are using it to solve public problems, right? Collective problems. So now, public policy focuses on that part of politics where the authority or the power is used to solve public problems. So the area of inquiry gets narrowed down here. So that's the way I would like to put it. But then it's an interesting academic question. It is an applied course, of course. There is no doubt about it. But we are not interested in making it only a technocratic course, applied in the sense of being technocratic. So we'll tell you about the solutions, but we'll also tell you about the real world in which the solutions are tried out.
And the limits of these
the limits of these techniques.
That probably answers why you said it's drawn from various disciplines of social sciences, and fantastic. So, Shyam, special preference to economic graduate. I did not understand this. No, I mean, it's a common entrance test.
I think we should explain that the test is a common.
It's a common entrance test, irrespective of what your program preference is. At the interview stage is where you'll be asked questions. Otherwise, there is no special preference.
No, it's open to all
disciplines. That's
so bachelor's degree holders, all disciplines, as long as you are interested in this area.
That's right. We have also received some questions offline, Narayana, which I have to ask later as to probably.
Can I just add something about economics? And I think that I don't know what Shyam's motivations are, but let me at least respond in one way.
Sure.
Which is, many people would like to avoid studying economics because they think that graphs or econometrics is not their thing, and they would try to avoid it. So let me say two things about our experience in the program over the last years. First and foremost, economics graduates from various schools find the economics course quite difficult, because the course that we teach is quite different from the average BA degree in economics. Even people who have a BA in economics sometimes find our economics course is difficult. Having said that, we place a great effort in starting with the basics of the field and developing the analytical ability of all students to think about economics, both the history of economic ideas as well as its key concepts, in a careful way, in a situated way. So we do that. We do expect all students to show some quantitative ability, but we put in an intense effort to train them, to train you to develop these quantitative abilities. So it neither is biased towards economics students, nor is there any special advantage to economics students.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thanks, Sudhir. Sham, hopefully that answers your question. Let me take. I don't want to miss out any questions here. Oh yeah, Rajat, let me take your question. That's interesting. I think he's asking about the field, the project that they would do. Can they propose their own project? So maybe from, I think under the recent the graduating batch, they would have done some.
Yeah, of course, you can propose your own idea. So as long as it is agreeable to the overall requirements of the course, the program, it will be considered.
Some examples we can cite which what kind of work that the students are doing in now, I mean, something that comes into your.
You mean in terms of the kind of engagement that they have right now? So in the first batch students have done their first industry experience or field engagement with a range of institutions, which are the sort of institutions I explained earlier. They may be consultancy institutions like World Resources Institute, which is an international institution, so where students went and worked for a project to understand or improve the transport system in Bangalore. Another project was the areas within the city limits which are not fully integrated into the municipal administration. Now, the World Resources Institute was helping the government of Karnataka to make this possible, and our students went and did help the institute to understand the problems of this integration better. So, and another group of students went to work with an organization called Argyem, and they are financing, they are the funding organization, and they have financed the water supply program in Andhra Pradesh. Our students went and evaluated their program so that the organization could decide whether it is worthwhile funding that kind of programs in the future. So now these are the programs that we worked out for the students in collaboration with the organizations concerned. But if a student has a fantastic idea which he has taken up with an organization, this is a very flexible programming here. So we don't have any rigid rules as the idea should not come from students, etc. So we are open to all possibilities, and also the field component part of the program is evolving. So we have had our experience only with the first batch. Based on the learnings from this experience, I think we are going to refine it further. We will involve more organizations, and we will also incorporate more components into this part of the program.
Yeah, can I just add one more thing, that in the fourth semester, in the third and fourth semester, students can choose an independent study project as a substitute for an elective course. In an independent study project, which is more research oriented, the student picks a problem, works with a faculty member in either one-to-one basis or in a small group basis, and then writes a significant piece of writing by the end of the term. So I don't know what Rajat had in mind when said, can you propose your own project? But if you have in mind a research project or a sort of problem-solving project that can be done across a term, this is possible in the second year of the program.
So thanks, Sudhir. Thanks. Siddharth, I'm going to skip that question. How is the MPG program different from the Masters in Development? We explained that in length.
They just need to go back.
A
few minutes.
See, yes, that's right. I'll take Ibrahim's question. Getting admitted to the program would be competitive to do that.
You should answer that question.
See, the thing is, you should apply for the program that really interests you, rather than looking at the
competitive part.
At the competitive part, exactly. So, right? If you strongly believe that it's through public policy that you can drive change, then you should come and express that ideas, right? And not looking at the number of seats available.
But you should just say the thing about you can indicate 3 preferences.
That's right.
That
is right. I think they have. Thanks, Sudhir. So the way the student would do is they would indicate the 3 preferences. The first preference being, in this case, if it is MPG as the first preference, and there is a second preference, or there is a third preference. Majority of the cases we try, where possible, where we give the first. Where it's not possible, we'll offer you the second. You can make that choice later, right? he's talking about the next question is interesting. He's talking about the institutions
Yeah.
that we are trying to, when you're talking about making our public institutions work broadly with.
So shall I
Please, please.
start that? So the program is designed in a field neutral and in an institutional neutral fashion. Let me explain this. We are not interested in solving, say, public policy problems in urban water supply. We are interested in thinking about public policy and governance problems per se. So the training in the program should equip you to address any area of policy and governance. It could be health on the one hand for some of you, and it could be environmental policy for some of you. And frankly, the cohorts in the program at the moment are motivated like that. Different people are interested in different programs, and we do not confine you. The second way in which we are institutional neutral is that we are very conscious that public policy is not just about the state. Having said that, the state is a very important institution, especially in a developing country context, both for public policy and governance range of concerns. So we are very aware, intellectually aware in the design of the program, that we will talk about the state, we talk about civil society, we talk about the market, we talk about cooperative institutions, the range of institutions that can have a bearing on this set of problems. So the training is wide. You don't have to be concerned that it either focuses on a specific institution or a specific field.
Thank you. I think Anjali, I think we answered that question. How would a master's in public policy fare against a PG in economics? The standard answer that I gave is, if you feel your first love is economics, and that's what you want to take an academic path or a career there, you should go and enroll for an economics program. Anything else you want to add, Sudhir?
I don't know if Narayana wants to, but I would like to say one thing. I mean, the one thing I'm struck by, Anjali, is that we have a range of students who might have chosen a postgraduate program in economics, and they think that they've done a bachelor's program in economics and that they know it fairly well. And what we have found at Azim Premji University is that even the economics that we teach is very challenging. It's very rigorous work, and the quantitative work is of a high quality. So there is a significant crossover between a postgraduate program in economics and the public policy and governance program. So I would refine your question in a slightly different way, not in the way you asked, which is it may depend on how good the PG in economics alternative is. I would hazard to guess that our economics training may well be superior to many postgraduate in economics courses, but surely there are postgraduate in economics courses in India and elsewhere which are fantastic. And if economics is what you love to do and you're clear that that's your field, then a postgraduate in economics is what you should be doing.
That reminds me of a conversation with a student. So she had read an article as part of her final year BA economics course, and she happened to read that again. But she's telling, I'm now able to look at through different. I know that I've understood what she said, but she said I'm able to look at it in a different angle and a different dimension. It was quite interesting comment that came. And I'll take the next question. Siddharth, did students join fellowship program after doing? I think this is the first batch that's going to graduate.
No. I would like to answer that question slightly differently.
Yes.
In fact, we have LAM fellows joining our program.
Oh, right.
Other way around.
It's other way around. After
Right.
doing their LAM fellowship, they feel the need to do an intense program like this in order to be effective in that fellowship. So we have one of our students in the current batch and second batch who was a LAM fellow. And sure, our students have also taken up fellowships like this, not exactly LAM fellowship. But
constituency based.
That's right, constituency based. The similar kind of fellowships our students have been doing both for their internship and they're also planning to join all these institutions later on.
Thank you. Thanks. Thanks, Naina. I'm glad that we were able to clarify your perception. I'll take Krishnamurthi's question now. Is it useful for civil services? I think they're asking is that
there any reservation for single girl child?
There's no. I'll answer the second question because there's no reservation as such. Based on one dimension, we look at multiple aspects as part of our selection program. But if there are other scholarship that's available in the country, of course that will be available for.
And more than 50% of the batch, or at least 50% of the batch, are girls.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
No, I think we can answer that question more straightly. I think the answer is yes. Being a girl, you have some weightage in getting admitted to the program.
That is right.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Yeah. So, but it also depends upon a range of other factors like which state you are coming from, what is the level of your parental education, your income, and so on and so forth. But the gender is an issue that we consider while deciding this weightage.
I think the first question I get asked at multiple places.
That's right. So there is no direct relationship between your civil services preparation and this program, but the kind of courses that we teach as part of the program are the kind of subjects that will be useful for writing civil services as well. That said, we don't have a general knowledge kind of approach to any of the subjects that we teach. We go beyond information. We try to teach you that subject in a more in-depth fashion. Now, will it be useful to write your civil services? Maybe not for prelims so much, but certainly for mains. But that said, we are not an institution which will prepare civil service aspirants. So we have our goals, and our goals sometimes may overlap with your goals.
Fantastic.
So, can I just say, we do have several current students who are motivated to write the civil services exam. We make no special concession to them in the program, but we do not dissuade them from writing civil services either. The program is a demanding program, and it's a full-time program. So as long as you are aware of those constraints, you preparing for the civil services or not is not.
Another aside to that is that after doing this program, some students have been motivated to write civil services. They want to be in the government. Yeah, that's right. See the value of that.
Fantastic. Siddharth, your question, the average salary of the recent graduating batch, if you go to our placement site, it's all put up there. For this batch, we would only know when the placement season starts in January.
That's right.
That's where the...
So our first batch of public policy students are yet to graduate. So we do not know for the moment what kind of salary they are going to get in the market.
But just to widen your perspective on that question, Siddhant, I don't think it's wrong for you to pay attention to the salary of the outgoing batch. But our focus is on trying to find students and helping students do work that they would love, and we don't really focus on their first job or the first salary bracket that they would occupy. We're very keenly focused on the kind of work they want to do and prepare them for a long career, a successful career in the field, and we think questions of salary and sustenance or that will get fully taken care of if we do that job well.
Thank you, Ibrahim. I'm glad to know that you got motivated. Anjali's question, maybe you could read.
So do you want me to? Shall I respond? So Anjali, it's a great question.
I think I will. People who may watch the video later, I'll just read out that question. Could a policy expert be expected to be qualified enough to be consulted on, say, the designing of a 3G auction?
So Anjali, let me say something about a course that I teach, and then say something more generally about the question that you asked. So one of the courses I teach is next term is titled "The Processes of State Action," and what we study in this course is the various modes by which public decision making takes place, legislative, executive, and judicial, and then when we look at different ways of executive decision making, we look at the range of both economic and political theories that apply to executive decision making. And the 3G auctions and the coal scam cases were all part of the case studies that we did in this course. So we studied this very deeply. But I suspect, Anjali, from the previous question that you asked us about economics and postgraduate in economics, I suspect that a part of your question is motivated by this idea of whether you'll be fully qualified. Now let's be clear that the people who designed the recent spectrum auctions in telecom in India, I think it was an Oxford economist. Not only was he a doctorate in economics, but I think had spent almost 20 years designing auctions around the world. So very high level skills in auction design, and that is itself a subfield in economics and mathematics and so on and so forth. So it's a complex field. So if you're asking me whether a master's in public policy and governance student would readily be able to design auctions, clearly not. It's a very specialized field, and you would need to do a lot more to be in that kind of a public policy expert mode. But are you on the path? You're certainly on the path. It's precisely the kind of degree that brings together the concerns of law, politics, economics, and ethical thinking that goes into this kind of allocation of resource problem. So it's precisely the kind of field that would help you design allocation of resources question.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thanks, Sudhir. We have 10 more minutes to go. I need to ask some questions which were sent through email. Mm-hmm. But let me see the other questions before I answer that. Ibrahim, I think Dr. Naran answered before this. It's not based only on one parameter of your caste, but there are multiple.
Yeah. Again, the answer is yes. If you are an OBC, then you will have some weightage.
That's correct. How to prepare for the entrance test? Vaibhav, we should look at least the sample papers that are there on the website. And there's one on reading comprehension, one on your logical ability, and then on current affairs and general awareness. So take a look at that for preparing for the entrance test. The question that I've got through email, Sudhir and Narayana, is now where do you see a public policy expert contributing in the area of social enterprises and startups? That's what's one clear question. Mostly coming from people who have done engineering and not from a social science background. People who have done doing sciences. And how is this program going to help them? Startup is the buzzword here in Bangalore, but specifically the question was on social enterprises.
Okay, so what do social enterprises do? They would like to make business out of solving a problem of great public concern, right? Now they may have motivation, may have money, but they might not have the kind of understanding of the complicated nature of the problem that they are up to solving, right? So that is where, then they might be trying out various solutions, and they might not be in a position to judge the merit or the efficacy of these solutions. And I think these are the two areas where a typical public policy expert would come in. So he would help this kind of entrepreneurs to decide, which are what are the kind of problem that they are up to solve, and what are the necessary precautions to be taken before taking up such a problem for this kind of enterprise. And once they are launched, then whether this is the right way to go ahead or not. Mm. So I think an entrepreneur might be motivated and they might have money, but they need not have expertise always. Right. Even if he has she has some kind of expertise, that expertise might not be very holistic. So now public policy graduates are prepared to contribute to this kind of people who want to innovate in solving public problems.
And may I add that our students who are in the second year are already working both with social entrepreneurship firms as well as with social venture funds. Because social
venture funds.
Yeah, social venture funds are very keen to develop a fund philosophy that can be, that would be more impactful than any other. And social entrepreneurship firms are interested in devising an intervention that will make their business successful. So our students have been involved in small groups with both sides of that question. So it appears that is a growing field in a city like Bangalore and elsewhere, and that a public policy governance degree can be quite useful there.
Fantastic, thank you. There was one question on, I think somebody had read your article, Madam, and wanted to elaborate on the idea of political consultancy. So, can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so this is another emerging field where contesting and winning elections and retaining a seat for those who have already got elected is becoming more and more professional. In the sense, everybody wants to be in politics, but then people do not know how to make that entry. Earlier, the role of money, role of caste, etc., have reached saturation point, and now people have begun to resort to innovative means to get connected to the people and build their constituency and get elected. So you might have heard about institutions like IPAC or Fourth Alliance, Samagra. So these organizations, there are a large number of them. I named just two of them. So they provide consultancy services to aspiring politicians and politicians who have already in the field to connect better with their constituents, to build political capital, and also to see that some of the promises that they have made during the elections are translated into effective programs. So this is another emerging field where a large number of our students are interning, both in development and in public policy. Yeah. So they are interning. And in more evolved democracies, this is an established field, and in India it is an emerging field. I think opportunities in this field are only going to increase in the days to come.
Fantastic. I think we have come almost to the close of this session. Many thanks, Sudhir and Narana, for taking the time out. I think I also learned many aspects of the program by just spending 1 hour here with you. Thank you all for watching and sending those very wonderful questions. Thanks to my team who were working behind the scenes on the technical side to set this up. So we'll be back again next Friday to talk about the development program. Dr. Harni Nagendra, Professor of Sustainability, she has agreed to spend that 1 hour with us next week. Until then, goodbye and good luck.
Bye.
Yeah.